The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, a staggering headline by Social Services Minister Miles LaRota that mothers are prostituting their underage daughters to make ends meet at home has shocked many. Tonight, it's a special Beyond the Headlines, a look at the now very public issue of blatant abuse by mothers, abusing their daughters by having them sell their bodies to fund the family. Ministry officials join me, including the Child Protection Unit in the Ministry of Social Services, with a candid look on just what's happening in the dark of night. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Now, just so that you know, tonight's show is dealing with a very delicate, sensitive subject. It's a multi-layered issue: abuse and sexual abuse, underage sex, which is statutory rape, and the issue of transactional sex or prostitution. Parents, it is advised that you use your discretion in having your underage child watch the show this evening, or perhaps you can watch it with your child in the event that you might need to discuss the topic with them later. Good evening once again and welcome to the show. Now I'm going to welcome tonight's guests. They're all from the Ministry of Social Services. Good evening to the Director of Social Services, Charlamagne Fernanda.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Ms. Fernanda, and good evening, of course, to the consultant in the Ministry of Social Services, Debbie Bartlett. Good evening to you as well.
Good evening.
It's good to have you both here. Let's jump right in. Minister LaRota's comments on the child prostitution that's taken hold of certain communities in the Bahamas and has become the norm, really, were startling. I'd like to begin by asking, how widespread is this issue of child prostitution involving family, particularly mothers in the Bahamas?
Well, unfortunately, it's nothing new. You speak about how widespread it is, and it's difficult to know because, of course, we get information on matters that are reported to us. And we don't believe that everything that happens is reported to us by any stretch of the imagination. But to try to help to frame this, we've had reports from New Providence and Grand Bahama and in some cases the Family Islands. So in terms of where it is happening, I would say you have the pockets of it around the Bahamas.
Around the Bahamas?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an uptick? Is it something that you're noticing an increase in?
We are getting an increase in reports, whether that is because it's happening more often or that more people are aware that they should be reporting these matters is hard to say, but we are getting an increase in reports.
Now, who are the reports coming from? First of all, I don't want to go there first. I don't want to go about no. Let's go and talk about what's happening. How old are these girls who are being sold for sex by their mothers? How much are the men reportedly, allegedly paying for the sex? And what's happening? Let's have a breakdown and a look at these homes in which this is happening.
In terms of the age of the girls whose matters are reported to us, they can range anywhere from 10 to 16. Of course, 16 being the age of consent. Any sexual activity with a child under the age of 16, whether the child supposedly agrees or not, is of course, non-consensual because the children do not have the right to give consent at that age. How much persons are paying, I would think it varies. I couldn't speak to exactly what people are paying for this service. Sometimes these things happen for favors even, and not necessarily for
favors
for
like
cash.
Like give me some, top up my phone?
Goods and services and material things.
Like top up my phone?
I don't know about the phone, but like maybe
Debbie, what are you saying?
maybe the new tennis or the clothes or etc. And so in terms of what people are paying, I guess it would vary. It depends on what it is that the person who is procuring the child thinks is important. I'd like to add also that mothers who behave in this way are receiving a lot of attention, but I must stress that it could be fathers doing the same thing, procuring their children. It could be older siblings,
Well,
grandparents.
you're saying it could be, but have you proof that fathers as well are operating this sex ring with their underage daughters in particular around the nation?
I think we notice that fathers may be aware of certain behavior and don't do anything to stop it.
Turning a blind eye
may
because
want to
everybody is
say-
benefiting.
You may want to say that they are equally culpable in that case. So it could be anybody who has the charge of children who are supposed to be caring for protecting children, including mothers, but not limited to mothers.
Debbie, jump in here.
Listen, this really is an indication that the moral fibers of this country is coming apart. Rome did not fall because of an army, but because of the moral decay. That was the greatest empire in the world. When just a couple weeks ago, a young man from Baintown came to see me. And do you know what he said, Shanique? He wanted to take me to a place where a young mother was selling her child. Every day, he comes to that location, she comes to that location, and you see her letting this young child to be about 12, 13 years old. Now, the difficulty that social services would have sometimes is that because the confidence in social services is growing with the systems, there's a lot of informal communication in the world of confidence. It's just like the guy who came and told me, but that's not recorded in social services. And I am satisfied based on the follow-up and this young man taking me into his confidence because he don't want to be exposed either. And you have to try to talk them in to getting into social services so that it can be as an official complaint. We have become too materialistic, and with
Don't skip it over, ladies. We have a whole hour. I did
all
say
right.
it's a special show.
Yes.
Let's go back to what it is he observed that he came and reported to you. I want that. Listen, I need you all, you ladies, to bring the nation in to this issue that's happening. Don't gloss over it.
Okay.
Don't gloss over it and say it's happening here in pockets and stuff. We want to know. Us, Joe Public, want to know exactly how extensive it is, what's being done. You said that this in this instance, this little girl between 10 and 12 years old, a wonderful Good Samaritan, noticed that, wait a minute, this isn't normal.
Listen.
This mother is showing up every day with this little girl, have her standing there, and men are kind of taking her and moving away. What's going on? That is to be commended.
Yes. And let me tell you what else is to be commended. If the Minister of Social Services has come to, these are taboo topics. You could only act on what you know. We don't have the kind of discourse in our nation as we should have about the things that we know that's being hidden under the bushel. This is a bold statement from the minister, and as a minister, he would not say that unless he is aware specifically of how serious this is. Let me give you another example. So if you know, as this young man showed me, didn't show me, but made me aware of the location and took me to where the family lives, etc. But it's
social. In this instance, before you give another example, and thank you for the examples, this is what people want, tangibles, right?
Yes.
Did social services act on the information he was providing?
No, you can't. See, this is what I'm telling you.
Right.
We are betwixt and between in terms of building the confidence of the Bahamian people that you can come to social services and you are protected. Remember now.
I didn't say expose them. I'm saying, did you all go and do your stakeout yourself?
No, because I did. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now what I'm saying, the guy is saying, Ms. Bartlett, keep this confidential. And now I'm working on him to say, let's come forward. Let us bring the cameras. You're going to see soon cameras coming out so that, because it's a process of building confidence.
But you see, that's the issue right there. If you can stick a pin right there, like he doesn't have to be at all. I figure him reporting or coming to you, or whether it's the director or anybody else, is obviously under the condition of anonymity. What I'm saying, there's no reason at all to point the finger. Once he report, if I come and say, hey, listen, it's raining outside, and you go and say, oh yeah, it's raining. Let's take over from here and get the umbrellas. I have no reason to ever be brought up.
Shanique, I have been in this world of inner city from the 1980s, right? And I am telling you, over time, it has changed. And when you have in any underground world, there is a clique, there's a network, and when somebody new comes in, there's a process of earning their trust. We would prefer to know that you trust us to come and allow them to be comfortable at their pace. We can't rush in. Now, I'll give you another example. A young lady came to my office. What do you do with this? And the young lady came to my office, 14 years old. You're talking about a mother. You know what? Her mother sent her to me to try to find a job because she went to her boyfriend in Andros and left her in the house with her boyfriend, with her first boyfriend. What is this?
The mother left her with the mother's first boyfriend.
Yes. So I said, well, just you and him? And she was being sexed up. What is this?
By the boyfriend.
By the boyfriend. And she showed me his car. So this has been happening, as Ms. Fernanda has said, from a long time. It is getting now to a boiling point where we are proactively in the ministry, and we've been doing since the Child Protection Act, I think, came in 1966, so that it wouldn't be established if there wasn't a concern. But the problem is becoming more aggressive, not only with the mothers. There are instances where you have brothers, sisters, family. Just look, I like how you opened it. Can we just give an example of just a couple months ago in one of the family islands? A young lady was bold enough, and thank God, she is in I believe, in police custody. I'm not sure where it is. But she had that graphic, without repentance, boldness, audacity to have oral sex with a baby. So when you see anyone being as aggressive and don't care and not hiding it, it is very egregious, very serious. It is not just the government's responsibility, it is the community's responsibility. We have to work together.
It's the community, and certainly, let's just go right back there, the home.
The home.
These people who are producing, and you know, who was it? One member of parliament say something, but like, stop this breeding, this mass breeding y'all doing. Y'all doing, and then doggone can't take care of it, and just creating spawns out there. This is a part of it, because here's the next question. Let's talk about the patterns or at-risk factors that make certain communities or families, households, more vulnerable for this type of activity. Now, describe that type of household, whether it's here in Nassau, Grand Bahama, or anywhere else.
Let me just say that these things tend to happen in households. I said to somebody earlier today, whether it's the mother or the father or the sister, whoever is subjecting children under their care to this type of abuse, if you research that particular person's history, you would likely find some incidences of sexual abuse that happened to them, or that they've been exposed to, or that they would have been reared in an environment where this kind of activity is taken lightly, if you want to put it that way. And these things go on, in other words, from generation to generation, unfortunately. And it could be that, as was referred to earlier, these people are suffering some financial crisis situation.
Is it only the poor people here, or is it wealthy as well that's carrying out this type of activity this activity for other reasons?
That happens at all levels, because you may find some persons who have no economic issues or whatever, who simply like to have interaction with children, and they procure these children for their friends and colleagues and whatnot who like to do it also.
It's wild what's
so
happening.
So it is not always
tied
to economics.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of sex is going? What are these girls really subjected to?
Everything that an adult would be subjected to. and maybe even some other activities that other people wouldn't do because they're children and you can make them do it.
That the men fancy.
Sorry?
That the men fancy.
That's right.
The little sexual.
May I add that it's not just girls who are the victims of sexual abuse.
Are you saying
in our community?
the
Some
underage boys are also
victim-
being sold?
Oh, yeah, yes. Well, underage boys are also being sexually abused. And I
Underage
think we
boys.
hide our heads in the sand if we don't think so.
You know, they it hasn't been 2 weeks that somebody said to me that they have a brother who lived in their yard, and they wanted their brother to go out because and feel uncomfortable because she sees young girls and boys trafficking to their house with drugs, cocaine. What do you think they're doing? Young girls? And so we have to then say, like that young woman, to say, come and talk, because we just heard what the director said. This has become generational. The abuse, and it becomes an altar, where it becomes cyclical, generational, and it is just getting worse. It's and you know, this may be a point, Shanique, that, and I'm sure you may talk about it later, but listen, we are allowing our culture to be diluted by other cultures.
Talk about that. What do you mean?
Listen, and I'm not talking about one culture. Let me, because you know, I'm going to be straight. Let me just set the stage here. There's no country that builds a nation without foreigners. But on the other hand, if we are slack in what we do, in our work ethic, the foreigners take over, including our cultural norms. We are supposed to be so sharp, so strong, and so good. They should be transformed with what our standards are.
Mm-hmm.
We have...
Like, you ain't gonna never mistake a Jamaican for somebody else.
No,
They
exactly.
can be a Jamaican, whether it's in Jamaica
exactly.
or in London.
Exactly. But
Okay, so what is it, and who are we being deeply influenced by, and especially sexually, where, as you heard the director say, you know, these kids, whether it be little boys or little girls, or sometimes have to perform the most egregious acts to fancy these, tickle their sexual fantasies that they spot somewhere on porn and are influenced by. So who are we being influenced by to do what exactly?
Let me, if you ever want to get to the root of a problem, I mean, if you want to solve a problem, you have to get to the root of it. So sometimes it's not the straight path, and I ask immediately, because I can answer of the root. But listen to me. We grew up in an environment where we were proud to be virgins. Now you say virgin.
That's out of date. You better put up in 2 weeks or go sit down.
Exactly.
But then
and I had a lady say you have to pay to play.
The man's so tired of us giving it up when we just didn't meet. They now looking for children to be stimulated by.
I went into when I go in early in the morning. Used to, I haven't done it in a while, but sometimes when I go into work 4 o'clock in the morning, I would ask the police to guide me. And I got there one morning in the Wolf Road police station, and the police said, you just missed it, ma'am. A mother, and we had to bring a mother and a daughter in. And the daughter was rowing with the mother to say, you always taking my boyfriends. What kind of standard is that? However, in the broader context, we are very comfortable with somebody else's culture departing from the value system that says that women should have the dignity and the character not to be slack. Now that has become the norm, and what it is attracting. And we call the Haitian, we call the Jamaican, we don't call the Colombian and the Venezuelan.
Oh, they're here as well.
We need to talk about that.
They run in their own sex trade.
And that's very dangerous.
They run in their own sex trade, but they adults. I see, you know, I mean, you see the built bodies walking up and down, wherever it's on West Bay Street or Bay Street. They women making that choice.
No,
men.
but once you introduce, see, we say that's just them. But those
So
people have
so you're
children.
saying they're leading?
Interconnect.
Are you saying they're leading the sex trade in the Bahamas now?
No, I'm not saying that. Let's talk about that. I had a break coming. We need to get down to the bottom
It's one
of
host
that.
of the show, you know.
No, yes,
answer
ma'am.
the question.
Yes,
The
yes, ma'am.
host asks.
Yes, okay.
Listen, we are really going in depth this evening because we want to explore, truly explore and uncover. The minister put it out there. He rested out there nice and politely. What I want to do this evening is take the cover off and really look at how this child prostitution is playing out in the Bahamas, and how are these kids even managing what's even happening after they're discovered. We have the Child Protection Unit coming up a little bit later, but first we're going to take a break and we are going to come back and continue to talk about how this is looking in Mayaguana, for example. I mean, how is it looking? Jesus, everybody there know each other, so who doing what?
It's a problem in the family.
Who doing what?
That way for a while.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You on the headlines?
Absolutely.
You on the headlines is backward after this.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Don't miss the Pulled Pork Festival this June 21st at the Arawak Cultural Site. Come out for a day packed with slow-roasted pork, mouth-watering food, live music, and good vibes all around. Bring your friends, bring your appetite, and get ready for a flavor-packed experience you won't forget. It's the ultimate summer hangout. Mark your calendar and be there.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you tuned in. Of course, this is a special show tonight dealing with and zeroing in on the child prostitution issue, not just here in New Providence or even Grand Bahama, but all across the Bahamas. I want to know, by the way, I'm joined by officials in the Ministry of Social Services. You heard this, you saw the startling headline really last week from the Minister of Social Services. Well, I have some senior officials here from the ministry, the Director, Charlemagne Fernanda, in the Ministry of Social Services is here this evening, as well as the consultant in the Ministry of Social Services, Debbie Bartlett. I want to know, before we even get to how it's showing up, because we see some stuff going on that we think, it has sort of become normal that we dismiss, but those are triggers and warning signs according to what you all are saying and what you all have seen and been able to just investigate. But seriously, in small island communities, how is this child prostitution showing up? Or how is it manifesting?
Very often, the person who is the breadwinner in any community, a small community, family island community, New Providence, whatever, has tremendous power. You may find, whether it's a mother, whoever is responsible for the child, recognizing the power of the breadwinner, then being able to sacrifice anything and anybody to keep the breadwinner tied to the household, and so that the person could continue to support the household. And so even though there may not be the type of transaction where cash is exchanged for services, it might be support, paying the bills, keeping a roof over the family's head, putting food on the table. That may be the trade-off for allowing some sexual activity to happen or a child to be subjected to that kind of behavior without reporting it, without commenting, without stopping it from happening. So that's the kind of thing you may see in smaller, more remote communities.
Right.
Okay?
But any idea?
A trade-off.
A trade-off and like a bartering of services.
Yes.
I mean, how can a mother just truly barter her daughter for, I don't know, a trip to the grocery store or something?
It is hard to imagine, and again, it's not only mothers and it's not only daughters who are victimized.
Oh my, that right there. I keep saying mothers and daughters, but fathers, and then with their, their daughters in terms of shopping them out, and then of course little boys as well are being sold because there are people with those desires that perhaps and the parents are willing. The guardians and the adults in the home are willing to just let that happen. Any idea how old these adult men are?
They range in age from very young to late teens all the way up to very elderly men, for instance. And I might add that some predators are female. We have come across cases there. We don't come across them as often, but we do see it. I want to mention too how these things sometimes develop. Many times in New Providence and other places, you see children approaching cars or strangers, and they want money for this sponsorship sheet, or they are just being, or they have some little trinkets to sell, or they just are being sent to some car or whatever by their parent or an older adult to beg for money. And I have to say, very firmly, I have to say it, you persons out there who are sending children to approach strangers for money, you are very wrong. You ought never to do it. There's no excuse for it. And the only thing you're doing is setting these children up with these older persons who are going to eventually say, I will give you money, but you're going to have to do something for me in return. And you should not get your children used to approaching strangers and asking them for anything. It is not the responsibility of the child to support the family. It is the responsibility of the adults to support the family. And if you cannot do that, you need to bring that child to the attention of social services and allow us to make other arrangements for the safe care and protection of those children. There is no excuse for sending your children out there to solicit money from anybody for any reason. None. And in fact, if there is some organization or some group that has some sponsorship sheets or whatever, I would say have the adults accompany the children if children must go, not send the children out or even away from you across the street by themselves. All you're doing is setting them up for future abuse and getting them used to asking strangers for money, and that can only end in one way, and that is bad.
Yeah, because you see it, a lot of it looks legit, some of it looks quite iffy. For example, you see some teenage boys saying that their basketball team, for example, is traveling somewhere for a tournament and they are soliciting financial assistance. I mean,
there got to be a better way to solicit financial assistance and then asking the children to go and ask for money. You're only setting them up. You're bringing them to the attention of predators. You have people who ride around Nassau in cars all day long and all night long trying to see who's vulnerable and who they could target, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
they'll offer $5, $10 and sure, I'll sponsor you.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just setting them up and we're fooling ourselves. I had this topic come up before on a previous show, and people went on to social media and they were arguing with me back and forth saying that, you know, well, if the economic situation is so bad that this is what mothers have to do or parents have to do. No, you don't have to do it. There are too many organizations.
You mean parents are using that as a defense, basically, and listen, things hard. I can pay my bills then. Well, let me just send my kid out there to do whatever. This is the excuse they're using?
They're using that excuse, and you have people who are maybe not doing it themselves, but they would defend parents who do it, try to justify it, and I don't think it's justifiable in any
what
way.
about truly if somebody say, man, miss, guess what, you making, whatever it is you're making at social services, you're in a senior position, mind your own business, this is what I have to do. How do you respond to that?
The welfare of the children in the County of Bahamas is my business. It should be the business of all of us right-thinking adults out there. They are all our children, and they are the future of our nation. And the reason why we're having so many problems with delinquent children right now is because we wink and shut our eyes and turn away too much in the past to what was happening with these children, and we're reaping the benefit of it right now. Now, if we want a better Bahamas, we have to do better by our children. Stop making excuses for bad behavior and subjecting children bringing them to the attention of predatory persons or predatory adults. The children are not responsible for maintaining the household. They are not. They are not responsible. It is the responsibility of the adults to care for the children. And if you cannot do it on your own due to economic issues, which I fully understand, or illness or whatever it is, there is help out there. You can come to social services and get assistance. There are many civic and religious organizations who would offer assistance, many friends and neighbors. There are many other things or other ways you can manage or get help for yourself other than selling your children or setting them up or getting them too used to approaching strangers who do not mean them any good.
Could I just talk about a mindset that is becoming disturbing, and that is mothers, and I've heard this with my own ears, you have to pay to play. Children hear with their eyes. And so when they see their mother making those kinds of statements, that is, I think, another channel for transactional sex. I was talking to a teacher just a few days ago, and she was traumatized because this young child showed her cuts all over her body. She said she wanted help, which is a growing trend where children are cutting themselves. And in that particular case, the root of that problem was she was being sexually abused. And so the foundation of this all is the condition of the home, of the character of the parents. Parenting means the dignity and character between the adult and the child. We are too comfortable with the absence of dignity, and so if the children are only hearing with their eyes, then what we are doing is growing up a generation that is behind us who has not been introduced to value systems, who has not been taught the difference between right and wrong. And so as Ms. Fernandez is saying, listen, you sending them out there to get money, and guess what? How do we know it's going to the scholarship or to get their track clothes? What are we doing? We're teaching people to be entitled, and it's okay to mislead, to misrepresent, to misappropriate.
It is. I'd like to know, you gave several examples, one with a mother taking her daughter on the street corner. I guess maybe an abandoned building is where the daughter is being taken for this transaction to happen. You mentioned kids going and saying, can you sponsor us, and being put at risk like that. But how does this happen just traditionally or normally? Are there hotel rooms involved? How are these parents selling their kids and maybe trying to At the same time, say, hey, you got to take her there or something.
Go ahead, Ms.
I don't know that. You don't need a hotel room. I don't know that hotel rooms are involved. People go around the corner and there's some abandoned building and there's some car. It only take a few minutes.
So it's really risky behavior.
It is risky behavior.
On every level.
You know what else too? Excuse me if I may. A lot of parents, they entertain and they have people come over and they live in maybe the house is small, that happens, people have small houses. But they engage in intimacy where the children can see and or hear. So they become aware of and exposed to or sexualized at a very early age. And this type of behavior becomes normal in the household when it shouldn't be. And I know adults would entertain and they have company come over, but I dare say you could pick your time, when the children are not there or not aware or they can't see or hear. But a lot of people take that light and, they don't take it seriously. And, this is my house and I can do what I like in my house. But your children are watching and listening and learning. And then they are acting out what they see and hear. Your house like
the flea market where people just moving all around, just moving in and out.
But back to what Ms. Fernandez is saying about, the children can see that you having some kind of transactional, and they can hear you. That I gave the example earlier with the young 14-year-old. She said that she heard mommy having sex all the time. So what is she doing? And then the mommy left went to Andros. But you talk about the hotel, Chini. Yes, that is the part. But right there in those hotels, when you have foreigners like Colombians and Venezuelans come in, we got to make the connection. They are making $600 a night. They're engaging local people. It becomes a business. When you already have poverty in the home and you have the mindset to have and be involved in transactional sex, they want the $600 too. And it leads to more dangerous things.
We are going to speak with the Child Protection Unit. What is it that they're noticing? I mean, they're on the front line of this. This is how the ministry and the minister made his comments last week. They're on the front line. We have a senior officer of the in fact, the lady in charge of the Child Protection Unit. She will join this discussion right after the break. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
I was an electrician for 18 years. And one day I just lost my sight and found that I was in a totally new world. I just found this strength that came from nowhere. And here I am today. Even though I am faced with disabilities, the fire in me, it never went out as related to me being an entrepreneur. But the barrier is just people being understanding and willing to take a chance on somebody like myself. My dream is to see where the government can really pass laws, legislation to assist people like myself. And whether you believe it or not, we do have something to offer this country. We have to make people understand that we are here. And not in many cases we're looking for handout. We want to make a contribution. You gotta live. And part of living is that you gotta take charge of your life. And through programs like this with the SBDC, I know for a fact that my business can now come to life.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
7.5 years, been walking here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
I win. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. This evening, it's a special show, a special Beyond the Headlines. We're looking at the issue of child prostitution in the Bahamas. It's a growing issue. Yes, of course, you heard at the top of the show, the director in the Ministry of Social Services say it's nothing new. Yeah, it's nothing new. But what's being shown is that it's happening more frequently, obviously being reported more or being detected more, but it's a lot going on and leading to it. I mean, just certain, as even the consultant in the ministry said in the other segments, that listen, influences from other cultures in the Bahamas. And so whatever it may be, the point is it's happening. The point is mothers are being enticed to sell their underage daughters for sex, to sell their underage sons for sex, and not just mothers, fathers, guardians, whomever is in the home to help to help make ends meet so that they can go and get a new pair of shoe or go and buy lashes, whatever it is that they just sometimes just to improve or maintain what they figure is their lifestyle. It's just a whole lot going on. Well, this evening we're going to continue, in this segment rather, we're going to continue that discussion. We're going to bring in an additional person and somebody new to the discussion. She is the Chief Social Worker in the Ministry and Department of Social Services, Andrea Newbold, and also attached to the Child Protection Unit. Of course, continuing to be here is the consultant in the Ministry of Social Services, Debbie Bartlett. Good evening to you, Ms. Newbold. Good to have you here.
Good evening.
Yeah, let's just pick up where we left off at. I know, in fact, when we, Debbie, when we went to the break just before this segment, we were talking about, I asked the question, listen, are these transactions happening in hotels and what's happening? And then you brought out, listen, prostitution on a whole is taking on a different form, looking different, is really becoming a whole different thing in the Bahamas, because of who's coming here and selling themselves and taking out, and in fact, annually millions of dollars leaving the economy because of what's now becoming a norm in the Bahamas.
For every cause, there's an effect. For every action, a reaction. We cannot just look at where we are now with the mothers prostituting the child. What we have right now, and it's just, I talked about the Colombians, the Venezuelans, I could go on, the Cubans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans. We have people who are comfortable, and it's not to say that the Bahamians don't do it. Yes, from years ago, 1966, when we did not have this confluence of different cultures coming in, we had a problem. It's a human problem from the beginning of time. We have that problem. But what we are seeing, and this is how it happens, right now, we have the foreign cultures coming into the hotels, getting $600 a night, going to our money exchange companies, and estimated by very informed sources of $60 million. Imagine $500 a night, $300 to $500 a night. And Bahamians are being exposed to how lucrative it is. And if they just send in for a little $75, $150, a couple $100, and they feel that they can make more money, what do you think that they're going to do? And so what we are doing, allowing, is dropping the barriers or the boundaries. There's no freedom without the boundaries of values. We're becoming comfortable. What's the consequence? The Bahamian going home and transferring the innocent wife, AIDS, the STDs are coming up. And so now more families in a crisis and poverty and desperation then in their minds, because when our parents, not our parents, but our grandparents and great-grandparents had a problem and they were poor, there was poverty with dignity. They understood that it's important for us to have a strong work ethic, and the poor had a dream to go further.
Nowadays, we all trying to keep up.
Yes,
you know, we keeping up with the
they ain't trying to keep up.
We keeping up with whom? Meaning the lifestyle. We have to push this lifestyle and this image. Because after all, we have to floss to social media.
Right.
So by whatever means is necessary, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. And so poverty, we were taught poverty is not a sin, you know. It's where you start in the valley. You start small, but you think big and you work your way to it, not lay your body in the bed of compromise to get there. That is the difference. How do we get our children and our parents back to say, listen, I want to plan for a better future for my children. And if I want a better future for my children, for my community, for my nation, I have to be the example. That's what integrity is, when what you say and what you do are one. So we criticize each other so viciously, but we seldom take a moment and evaluate ourselves and see what role are we playing, and being so insensitive to our children and to our older population, our pearls.
Andrea, it was the job of the Child Protection Unit that brought about this discussion. It brought about the minister's statement last week in Parliament. What is it that you all are seeing?
Well, Shanique, like our directors say, this is not new, and now persons are now reporting. Just like when we're talking about incest, it's being reported more. People are talking more. And when we talk about child prostitution, I know in our unit, and I was recently placed in that unit, and I've one matter we were dealing with the other day, suspicious. When people, suspicious things going on in your community, you see maybe a home and cars coming in a whole lot, young girls going into these cars, and the parents are there. The parents are in those homes, so they are aware of what is going on. Okay, so we have cases like that, and so our job, once that is reported to us, and it has to be reported for us to act, we go out and we we call it a wellness check to see what's going on. And we partner with the police. If anything's suspicious, the police will be involved in this. But I think it's just that people, they're talking more. In social media, people saying things on social media. So even this TikTok thing, everything, people just using these things, and so we are knowing more about what's going on in our country when it comes to child abuse. And child prostitution is one of those things.
Are the mothers, the adults in the home, are they employed, unemployed, or underemployed?
These persons are employed, and I don't want to say like they're employed. Both of them employed. That's what we found. But you know, one of the things is some people want a certain lifestyle.
Just what I said. Everybody now wants to floss for social media, because I was thinking these are some just lackluster, under-inspired, like no ambition set of people just sitting down someplace and looking for an easy way. They are working, and still, because of the need for wanting more, figure that the kid that came from their body, that they're responsible for rearing and instilling principles and morals, they figure, listen, go out there and make us some extra money, eh?
And that's one of the things. So, and you said it, your value system. What happened to our value system? Like Dr. Bartlett talked about in the past, we had a strong value system. And so a lot of things happen, yes. We see on things on TV. Children are exposed, even in the home. Persons are not being discreet, even when they're having sex. They're exposing our young children, our young minds to certain things. So it's becoming like it's normal, like it's a normal thing. You know, this is...
And it's not necessarily an inner city problem.
No, it's not. It's not.
That's what's even maybe more startling, more worrisome, the fact that this behavior is happening at all levels.
And you know, and this isn't a popular approach, but I think we could learn a lot from our grandparents and our great-grandparents. They, without vision, the people throw off restraint. There are people who are not even desirous of having a passport. So when you don't have a glimpse of the future, you don't have a dream. There are no values. That means there's no bonding. That means that we don't make a decision today and weigh out what is the consequence tomorrow. That means that, listen, I don't care if I get AIDS today, but I need that bling bling. I need that, what's the popular things you wear? You know, they just want bling bling, the fashion, the biggest things. That to say that there's a stamp that I have an MCM bag. No.
No, hold on.
What?
I have not heard that name in EO.
Oh, but you can tell I don't really keep up like that. But you know.
You in this Gucci vibe? Like, look,
No.
what I'm saying is like, that was a joke, but no, MCM, say something else.
Say what?
Say some level of jewelry or
Yes.
just to look a certain way, you know?
You want David Yerman and working on minimum wage. And it doesn't matter. Wait a minute now. And you know, the other thing is, well, you have to pay to play. So you got one to pay the rent, one to pay, buy your jewelry, one paying the school fees, another paying the gas. This is real. Mm-hmm. So now your children see that as a way of living. You know,
hustling.
Yeah, and I called
whatever.
all the foreigners' name, you know, again, the context. Do good to the foreigners who are building. But we're supposed to be strong enough in our values of what we have come up with, the value system that they should change and want to follow us, and know that we have integrity, know that we have dignity, know that we have a strong work ethic, know we were born to be great, know that this is the tongue of the ocean, that's the Bahamas is where the tongue of the ocean, where we are supposed to be a leading influence to the world. And it costs more to fail, than to succeed. So when we are making these decisions, because we are not thinking about the potential of falling over the cliff as a nation, because we only think about this is something that it's like, that sex is real good. It feels good now. I used to know, been a long time, 30 years or so.
You?
Yeah. My mother used to say, you still a virgin, yeah? I said, but 30 years ago, I'm a virgin again. What? You know, none of us are perfect.
This is a different
No.
follow-up question.
No. I'm saying that, Lord, I don't know where that came from, Shanique, but you know.
But the nation certainly appreciate that
Yeah, no.
disclosure.
No, because I decided to return. See, when you have a foundation, you may move from it. We're not talking here as people who are perfect. We have all sinned and fallen short. But what we are saying is, look, if we are living wrong, let's do it right for our children and our children's children. Let us have the kind of influence, the peer pressure to change the foreigners in our system rather who are, because guess what? Some of the foreigners are doing an excellent job and we should be ashamed. Some of the foreigners doing more than the Bahamians. What kind of thing is that? That's signing up for slavery.
They're certainly bringing about and fostering environments for a more healthy, a more productive,
and thank God
a
for
more
them.
Academically astute child. That's
Exactly,
for sure.
exactly.
What are the identification and rescue measures that are ongoing in the Child Protection Unit?
Okay, well, Shanique, one of our jobs, when we get anyone could call in to Child Protection Unit. You can remain anonymous. A lot of people feel afraid to give information, but we will not. As long as you want to remain anonymous, you will stay anonymous. But I must say, mandatory reporting it's by law. You have to, once you see something as a citizen of this country, and a good thinking citizen would want the best for our country and our children, you need to say something. You need to bring it to our attention so we can investigate. And so we go out there and we investigate. And guess what? You could report that there's suspicious activity. We go out and we find that it is not, then it is not. But it's a red flag. And that's why we involve the police, because a lot of times we go, people cover things. They might know we're coming, or they see us coming, so they could cover up a lot of stuff. So we do go back and do another check. And we call it a welfare check of our children. But what I would like us as Bahamians who love this country and who love our children, I would like for you, if you see anything suspicious, say something, please, because this is going to be far-fetching effects on children in years to come. They're going to be the same children who are going to grow up, and they're going to act out again, and they're going to expose their children or other people's children to the same thing. And so we need to look out for one another in that fact, and remember that children are our asset. I can't, as a social worker, and when I see children, in danger, I don't know, it hurts my heart to know that these children, it's gonna affect them in the long run. I think about my upbringing as a child. I had two of my parents there who loved me and protected me. And as an adult now, and when I see what the children have to put up with now, and the exposure, what they have to go through, the sexual abuse, the neglect, the physical abuse, yes.
The overstimulation.
You know, the overstimulation, pornography. Are some of our children addicted to pornography? And it's just overwhelming sometimes. And we as a country, as citizens, we have to protect our children. We have to do better.
Are there cases that are being investigated now, or families, or, I mean, do you have statistics on those?
Well, our statistics basically cover with sexual abuse. We have statistics on those. As for child prostitution, we are looking into those matters. Like I say, this year in particular, we are looking into some matters.
Have you seen an increase this year then?
Well, I can't, when we talk about increase, we have to have something to measure with to say it's an increase.
Are you responding to more inquiries or more reports?
More persons now coming forward and saying, and now that we are seeing things and hearing things in our community. And like I say, it's been around for a while. I remember years in Pace. We had mothers who were prostituting their children. And the difficulty with that is when we go to investigate, persons are not truthful. They don't give us the information we need, so our hands are tied. A lot of times we could get these reports, but we need the evidence to go after people. And if we have that evidence, we'll bring that before the court, and the court will do due diligence. Mm-hmm. And that's our issue, evidence. When we have reports, some things are reported, and we go and investigate, we need that hard evidence to go at people to make sure they are brought before the court.
How do people contact the Child Protection Unit?
We have a hotline, and our hotline number is 422-2763 or 322-2763. You can contact us, and that's a hotline that's 24/7. Child Protection Unit is located behind Checkers on East Street South, so we are there 9 to 5. You can come there physically to make a report. And like I say, even if you call us, we will, once you call us, call the hotline, we will take your information. We have hotline workers around the clock taking that information, and they will pass that on to us. We have partners, SCAN, helping us. We have the police.
What is that first thing?
SCAN is a unit to, of neglect. We have then that's through the hospital, and cases when we have children who are abused, they are seen by SCAN and they're referred to us. So we have matters coming from us, from the schools, the police, and we do investigate. We take our job very seriously, and we love our children. We want to see our children thrive.
Are they removed? Is there follow-up counseling?
If need be, we will remove a child. Once a child is in danger, we will remove that child. If we can place it with a relative, we will place it. If we have to put it in one of our child care facilities, we will put that child in the child care facility, and we will do our diligence to investigate and see where this child is going to be. If the child have to be out of that home for a while.
Debbie Bartlett, who made such a disclosure of her own, you have any? Just kidding, no distractions. You have a final comment?
Let's just think as a nation. The success manual for life, the Constitution, is called the Bible. It says that we might as well throw a millstone around our necks. And the two very critical scriptures of how important it is to protect our children and to honor our fathers and our mothers so that our days will be long. That when we are abusing our elderly and our children, that sets us up to fail. We were born to be great. The Bahamas will be the greatest little nation in the world. We have enough of us that's on this show and those of you watching us who believe in doing what is right. All we need, as the Ministry of Social Services says, is we need stronger families. It's going to take all of us. Families come from the word to serve, to help each other succeed. So I just say, Shanique, thank you for just being a champion in this nation and advancing us with disclosing the information. But let's do this together. And media has been so important in helping us to achieve the shared goal. We can be okay, but you gotta do it in an accelerated fashion. Let's do it together.
I agree, let's do it together. I thank you both very much. Of course, at the top of the show, you saw the director as well joining us on this discussion, this very special Beyond the Headlines, a look at child prostitution in the Bahamas. Hope you got a better understanding. Perhaps we can even revisit it. But certainly, of course, just a greater appreciation for what's going on and to help that the work that's being done to help obviously combat it. Thank you very much, Ministry of Social Services and the officials joining and coming on the show this evening. Thank you. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you this evening. I certainly enjoyed having you along and look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.